Before watching this, I would recommend going through part 1 or like watching it or just going through the timestamps to just check you have all the talismans. And yeah, let's just get into it. Carrying on from last video, we have the Night Vision Charm. Now this is found in Mushroom Collection 7 and it requires 4 of each enchanted mushroom type. Now this all in all costs like 15k or something. So I would recommend just placing on a mushroom minion to get this. Or you can buy it off age. Please don't farm it yourself. Either just buy it off age or just place a mushroom minion down. Both work. The Emerald Ring is unlocked in Emerald Collection 5 and it costs 36 enchanted emeralds, which probably costs about 35 to 40k on the bazaar. And the ability is pretty pointless, but it's an uncommon accessory which is relatively cheap. Moving on to the Blazing Fortress, we have the Fire Talisman. The Fire Talisman is unlocked in Blaze Rod Collection 5. It costs 9 enchanted blaze powder, which probably costs about 15k on bazaar. It also provides immunity to fire, which is pretty useful early game, and it could also be useful in the new Blazing Fortress update. So I would definitely recommend trying to get this. The Lava Talisman provides immunity to lava when it's held in your accessory bag. It costs Magma Cream Collection, I think it's 7. Yep, 7. And it costs 9 enchanted Magma Cream, which is actually pretty cheap. It's a good talisman, and it's also very useful for finding fairy souls early on in the game, and it could also be very useful in the new Blazing Fortress update. I would probably recommend placing Mamba Cube minions, or you could alternatively just buy it off AH. The Bat Talisman is spawned from Roof Forest crystals, and the Bat Talisman has a 1 in 54 chance of dropping from bats which spawn from it. However, it's much easier just to buy it off AH, considering it's a rare talisman as well. So just go on lowest price, and yeah, it's about probably 30 to 35k, which is really not much at all. The Fish Affinity Talisman is obtained from killing a water hydra, which you can spawn when you reach fishing 19, I think, something like that. However, similarly to the Bat Talisman, it's just way easier to just buy it off AH, considering it's on buy it now, and it costs around 70k coins. Prices will probably fluctuate because when I was doing my research, it was about 35 to 40k coins. Talisman of Power is crafted with 45 fine flawed ruby gemstones, and it's unlocked in Gemstone Collection 4, which is 2,500 gemstones, which isn't too much at all considering how easily you can get them. It's a pretty good talisman because it allows you to harness the power of 2 gemstones. However, the effect only is halved, which is still actually pretty good for a common talisman. This is still really cheap. It will cost like something like 35k as well, and yeah, it's just a pretty good talisman in general. Moving on to the Shark Tooth Necklace. This is an upgrade from the Honed Shark Tooth Necklace, which you probably crafted last video. It's crafted with 4 tiger shark teeth, which currently cost, well, they're quite different, but let's just say 9k. 4 of those will cost no more than 40k. And for an epic accessory, this is really good, and I definitely recommend this. After you obtain the Bat Talisman, you can when you speak to the Fearmonger is in the hub, which is probably around here in the big pumpkin. You can exchange your Bat Talisman and 64 green candy for a Bat's Ring, which upgrades rarity to epic. The 64 green candy will cost, if you just look at the bazaar now, let me find it. Here we go. It costs about 50k, which is not too much, and yeah, it's quite a good talisman. The Candy Ring is very similar to the Bat Ring, because you can upgrade your Candy Talisman to a Bat Ring at the Fearmonger in the hub, of course, when the Spooky Vessel was there, for 64 green candy, which is the exact same as the Bat Ring. This costs pretty much exactly the same, and yeah, it's just another accessory. The Soulflow Pile is an uncommon accessory, which you can craft for 90 null spheres. However, it does cross Enderman Slayer 2, which can probably be a challenge for some people. But yeah, you can just do tier 1s until you get there. And yeah, it's not going to take very long to get Enderman Slayer 2. The Piggy Bank is unlocked in Pork Collection 5. and it costs a chest, and that is 40 enchanted pork, which probably on the bazaar it probably costs around 60k. However, this probably can save your life, because save loads of coins, because trust me, I've lost like 20 million coins from not having, assuming at this part of the game you probably don't have a booster cookie, so this is probably your next best option when it comes to losing your coins. The Farmer Orb is another uncommon accessory, and it's unlocked at Pumpkin Collection 6. Now, this is quite easily obtainable through getting a pumpkin farm or just farming pumpkins in the a barn for a long time. This costs around I think it's about 65k, and yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, the ability is not great. Moving back to the Fearmonger and the Spooky Festival, you can upgrade your Intimidation Talisman, which you brought from the Adventurer NPC, with 100 green candy, which costs around 70 to 80k. Again, from the Spooky Festival, the Bat Person Talisman is obtained as a rare drop from a trick or treat test when you kill a mob in the Spooky Festival. Now, if you don't, you can try and try your luck and try and get it. However, you can alternatively just buy the talisman off AH, which is probably easier, and currently it costs about 80k. The Lucky Hoof is again from the Spooky Festival, but this time it's a drop from a spooky sea creature, more specifically the Nightmare. So assuming you don't get it this way, you can buy the Lucky Hoof for, well, 95k, so about 100k, which is quite cheap. So next we have the Feather Artifact. Now this can be crafted in Feather Collection 7, I think. Sorry, 9 actually. And it's actually very cheap, it only costs about 70k. But the reason I skipped out the Talisman and the Ring is because you can just buy the Feather Artifact on the AH, which is just a lot easier than having to grind all that collection, and it's only about 135k. And yeah, so obviously if you have the collection, then just craft it yourself because it'll be cheaper. But if you don't have the collection, then I recommend just buying it off AH. Similarly to the Feather Artifact, the Potion Affinity Artifact is another one where I skipped the Talisman and the Ring, because if you have a Netherwart farm and you just farm the collection, then yeah, you should craft it yourself because it'll always be cheaper. But assuming you don't have that, you can just buy the artifact off the AH for 150k, which is just a lot easier than having to farm the Netherwart yourself. The Healing Ring is yet another ring or accessory that you should buy off AH, because it is crafted in Lily Pad Collection 8, which is 6,000 lily pads, which for most of you by this stage will probably be extremely difficult. Yeah, so you can just buy it off AH. It won't be on Byte now, but you can just bid on it and you'll probably get one. Like this one's going for way too much money, but these ones, it will probably be quite difficult, but eventually you'll just find one going for relatively cheap and you'll be able to snag it. The Mineral Talisman is crafted with 9 refined minerals, which, as you can see, costs about 250k. With that's instant buy, so it's probably about 200k. There's no crafting requirements, so I recommend just crafting yourself. Down in the Dungeon Hub, this is another race one, so if you just jump down here, you don't take full damage, so don't worry about that. You can talk to Guildford. Now, so the Cheetah Talisman, or Lynx and Cat, I'm just putting it all into the same because it sort of all falls under the same category. So I recommend trying to do nothing at all and just completing the races for these. The best guide I would recommend for this is Menacing Bananas guide. Yeah, so if you just follow the guide, and also I think horse and just having a high base speed and having a horse bet also I've heard is quite good. And yeah, if you just have these two things and just follow the guide, then I'm sure you'll get it quite quickly. So the Spider Talisman is obtained by killing the Broodmother at the top of the Spider's Den, or the Spider's Nest. However, assuming you don't do that, you'll probably want to buy the Spider Talisman off AH, and unfortunately you can't buy this off Byte now, so you have to auction on it. Yeah, it's just gonna be like this, ending soon, and you're just gonna have to try and bid on one and hopefully get lucky and get one. So once you obtain the Spider Talisman, you should instantly upgrade it to a Spider Ring. Now this will cost a stack of Tarantula Web, which costs like next to nothing. You also need Spider Slayer too, which is also really easy. So once you get this, it's just a free upgrade to your accessory, and yeah, you should just do it as soon as you can. You can buy Spider Ring off AH, however, it's just really stupidly overpriced, and yeah, 400k for this is really just ridiculous. The Haste Ring is unlocked in Cobblestone Collection 9. Now this costs 4 stacks of enchanted cobblestone, which if I look on a bazaar, it will cost about 230,000 coins. However, if you don't have the collection for this, as many of you probably won't, this is another accessory which you can just buy off the EH, and currently it will probably be around 280k coins. The New Year cake bag can be bought from the Baker NPC when the Jerry event comes around, or the last hour of the Jerry event. It can be bought for 250k coins, and it just holds all of your New Year's cakes, which can give you quite a lot of health. So from the Fearmonger again, you can upgrade your candy ring to a candy artifact. Now this will cost 32 purple candy, which currently from the bazaar costs which currently costs about 280k, or probably about 260-70 if you were to buy all of that. The Sea Creature artifact is also a bit like the Potion Affinity artifact and the Feather artifact, because I didn't mention the Sea Creature Talisman or the Sea Creature Ring. I'm only mentioning the Sea Creature artifact now. This is because Sponge is a pretty annoying collection to level up as well. If you have a fishing minion, it can make it quite a lot more bearable, but still. I recommend just buying the Sea Creature artifact off the AH for 240k, which seems to be the going price right now. So going back to the Romero and Juliet quest, what you need to do now is you need to give Romero an enchanted lava bucket. Now you will find him in the gold mines somewhere down here, and I think it's in this spot here. Now he'll give you a quest item, and once you give this to Juliet, she will upgrade your Ring of Love to a refined Ring of Love. So next is the Classy Ring of Love, which is again the next quest in the Romero and Juliet. So how you can get this is you go up the stairs up to Romero's house, well, where he will be when you find him. So Romero will be in not this one, but this house. So what you have to do is you have to generate 1,391 mana. So mana is the blue bar at the bottom of my screen. Now you can achieve this by armor. So you can use armor, you can reforge your accessories to Bazaar, which would probably give you a bit more intelligence. And you can also use a pet, which gives a bit more intelligence. If you do like a lot of these things, you might have to spend a bit of money, but you'll probably be able to get the intelligence required. And once you give this to Romero, or once you show Romero you have the intelligence, he'll give you a Solved Rubik's Prism, the Solved Rubik's Cube, and then once you give this to Juliet, she'll upgrade your Ring of Love to a Classy Ring of Love. The Titanium Talisman is obtained via the Forge. Now to forge this, I've currently got my slots full, but to forge this, you'll need 2 refined titanium, which currently cost about 170 coins each, 1,000 coins each, which in total is 340,000 coins, which is not terrible. It gives you a little bit of mining speed, and it might take a bit of time, and you also need to have the forge unlocked. Now we are going to travel back to the Campfire badge, because now we can upgrade our Campfire Cultist badge to the Campfire Scion badge. However, this does take quite a jump in difficulty, as the trial deals 5,300 damage. Now here, you can still stick with your mushroom armor, and you'll have to keep yourself up with health potions. However, at this point, it might also be a good idea to get some massive armor. This is because massive armor gives a ridiculous amount of HP, like it gives 20,000 HP. and you'll have absolutely no problem surviving this. Also, to upgrade it, once you've actually completed the trial, you need to get 100 enchanted acacia wood and give this a run, and then you'll get the Scion badge. The treasure talisman can be obtained from secrets, or getting secrets from floors 4 and above. Alternatively, if you're not able to run floor 4 and above, or if you just don't do dungeons much, you can also buy the treasure talisman for about 350k to 400k on the AH. The BeastMaster Crest is crafted with 4 griffin feathers and 4 ancient claws. Now, the griffin feathers are quite volatile in price. So currently they are 260k, so the whole thing will probably be about 260 to 270,000 coins. However, there was a point where Diana wasn't elected for ages, and the price of griffin feathers rise to about 250k, making this very expensive. This is why I would recommend trying to get the griffin feathers quite quickly. Again, in the Ring of Love quest, now what you have to do, to get the Exquisite Ring of Love, you have to get an emerald blade. You have to craft either you craft it or you buy it off AH for about 400k. So once you get it, you should take it down to the Colosseum, and I think it's down here, and somewhere in here Romero will be, and you just give him the emerald blade and he'll give you the Poem of True Love. And when you return this to Juliet, she'll upgrade your Ring of Love to the Exquisite Ring of Love, and this will also mean that your Ring of Love gets a rarity upgrade and it's now epic. The Night and Day Crystal are unlocked in Quartz Collection 7 and 8 respectively. They cost exactly the same. They're laid out a bit differently, but they both cost the exact same. So this will cost they will both cost about over 400k, which is fairly a lot. However, it does give 5 defense and strength depending on what time of the day it is, which is actually not too bad. So the Pocket Espresso machine is an RNG drop unlocked from Enderman Slayer. There is one downside to this talisman, and that is that you need to have Enderman Slayer 4 to be able to use it. This is quite bad for most early game players, well, even late game players, because this is pretty difficult to get, because either you do this with tier 1s or if you're good enough tier 2s, but if you're at this stage you probably won't have Enderman Slayer 4. However, when you do decide to get it, then on the AH, the Pocket Espresso machine, right now, it's currently about 1 million coins. However, this is either market manipulated or just really inflated, so the price should be about 400k. So just be careful with this, because probably like a fairly easily manipulated item. So just make sure the price is about 400k before you buy it, because that's probably about the average price it's going to be. The experience artifact can be unlocked with 9 enchanted lapis blocks and requires lapis collection 9, which costs 150,000 lapis. So I would recommend just placing down some lapis minions, because lapis lazuli is quite a decent collection to level up anyway. So it costs 9 enchanted lapis blocks, which if we look on the AH now, probably costs around 500k to craft. You can also buy this on the auction house for a total of about 550,000 coins, so it's only about a 50k difference. So if you don't have the collection and aren't intending on getting it, then just buy it off the AH. So the Person Deletor is an accessory which deletes items which goes into your inventory. Now this is crafted through Iron Collection 9. However, you cannot buy this off AH, so you will have to get the collection yourself if you want to get it. This is pretty cheap, and the first one only costs about 400k, which is actually not too bad. And then the second one is actually cheaper than the Person Deletor 5000 is actually cheaper than the 4000 to upgrade. However, it does require Iron Collection 10, and here it requires 224 enchanted iron, which if we look on the Bazaar, that's about 350k. So I would recommend, so just when you get the Deletor 4000. If you have the collection, just upgrade it to 5000. Another Spooky Festival one. This is the Bat artifact. Now you can upgrade your Bat Ring with 64 purple candy, which, if I just go quickly here, costs about 550k or 560k. You trade this to the Fearmonger and the giant pumpkin when the Spooky Festival is happening, and he'll give you the Bat artifact. And this will probably be your first legendary accessory. So the Scarf Studies is a boss or a loot from the chests at the end of an floor 2 run. It increases your class XP by a little bit, and currently on age it costs about 600k, which is probably about the average price, which is going to be. You can either run some F2 runs and see if you can get lucky and try your luck, but if you just want to save time, then just buy it off AH. Finally, for this video, we have the uncommon BeastMaster Crest, which is the upgrade to the common one, which you've probably guessed. To upgrade this costs 8 Griffin Feathers, which now currently costs about 520k, and it also costs 80 Ancient Claws, which is probably going to be about 10k. So all in all, it's about 550k.